Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Glories to Prabhupada. So today we will start our discussion on chapter 11 of Bhagavad-gita, the universal form, also known as Vishwarup Darshan. The chapter has 55 verses, and broadly it's divided into 5 sections. It begins with Arjuna requesting to see the universal form of Krishna. Then verses 9 to 31 is Sanjay's description of Arjun's vision, or Sanjay relaying what Arjun was speaking. Then 32, 33, 34 is Kalrup, Krishna is time. Then 35 to 46 are prayers by Arjun after seeing the universal form. And the last section, 47 to 55, is the description of Krishna's two-armed form and the interaction between Krishna and his pure devotees. So we will start with verse 1. Verse 1. Arjuna vacha Maddanugraya paramam Guyam adhyatma samgyatam Yatvayoktam vachastena Mohayam vigato mama. Arjun said, by hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. So the chapter begins with Arjun recognizing what Krishna has spoke to him so far and expressing gratitude. So in the 10th chapter, Krishna had described his prominent opulences, specifically from verses 20 to 42. Before that, in 4 verses in the Chaturshloki, Krishna had described his, from a philosophical perspective, his relationship with his position and relationship with the material world and the spiritual world. So Arjun, recognizing it, says that moha. So what was the illusion that Arjun was referring to? And this is the illusion that is all pervasive in the material world, which is the nature of one's own position, the nature of Krishna, and the nature of the relationship between the jiva and Krishna. So Arjuna is reaffirming to Krishna that illusion is now gone. Arjuna knows he is the eternal spirit soul. He knows that Krishna is the personality of Godhead, and he knows that Krishna gives shelter and the jiva takes shelter. But Arjuna is also setting up the stage for a further ask that will come in the next 3 verses. Verse 2. Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam Shritau vitsarasho maya Tvataha kamlapatraksha Mahatmayam api chavyayam. O Lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. So Arjuna is now not just referring to the 10th chapter, but more generically what he has heard from the beginning of the Bhagavad-gita. So in the middle 6 chapters, Arjuna had heard from Krishna about the creation and the dissolution of all beings and all creations. Then he had heard about Krishna's eternal powers, avyayam mahatmayam. So he says, I have heard about your eternal powers in words such as Krishnasya Kritasya Jagataha. So this is reference to 7.6. Then in 4.6, he had heard about Krishna's eternal existence, where Krishna said that I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates. Then in 9.4, he had heard about Krishna being unchangeable. He is the controller of all. And he is not affected by that which he controls. Maya tatam idam sarvam. I pervade the whole universe. All beings are in me, but I am in them. And nacha mam tani karmani nibantanti. That these actions do not bind me. So Arjuna is saying that I have heard from you about all these opulences of yours. Prabhupada says that that is the inconceivable opulence of Krishna, which Arjuna admits that he has thoroughly understood. Next verse. Evam ithad yathata tvam atmanam parameshwara drashtum ichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered in this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. So when Krishna had ended the 10th chapter, in verse 42, he had said that I am Vishtabhayam idam, that by a small fragment of mine, I support this entire creation. So Arjun is now asking to see that fragment. Now he is also setting the context. So he is saying that I am not asking for you to reveal that, to prove to yourself once again your divinity. Because that point he is making. He is saying that you are Purushottam and Parameshwar. That you are the greatest person, and Ishvara means controller. You are the greatest controller. So I already know that you are a person. Purushottam. Purush means person. So I already know that you are a person. So I am not going to get confused by seeing you in an impersonal form. So Arjuna is assuring Krishna. And I know you are Parameshwaram, the greatest controller. So you also have the ability to reveal to me what I am asking. Krishna might say, difficult for me to show. He said, no, you are Parameshwar. You have the ability to show to me. So the Acharyas said there are three reasons why Krishna is asking to see the universal form of Krishna. First is curiosity, which actually was seeded by Krishna himself. When Krishna says that Vishtabhayam idam, that I'm by a small fragment I'm supporting this whole material creation, then Arjuna out of curiosity, he says, show me that form. And this is really the mood of one who has a strong affection for others. We see that if somebody is very much attracted to a movie star, they want to know everything about the movie star, even things that don't really concern them. What are the favorite foods? What do they like to eat? Where do they vacation? What relationships they are in? It's just the manifestation of one's affection. This intense curiosity. And Arjun, having seen Krishna's form as philosophically through the Chaturshloki, empirically through the opulences, he is completely in love with Krishna now. And he wants to see more about everything about Krishna. He says, okay, that form that you talked about, now please show me that. So that curiosity is the one reason. The second is, Prabhupada says that Arjun wants to convince others also. Because the conversation is really between Krishna and Arjun. And one might say that Arjun was always a friend of Krishna. They also have some kind of a family relationship. So he could be biased. He's one person who may be not fully understanding what's being spoken. So Arjuna is saying, I'm convinced, now convince others. So that's the second reason. Third reason is to set a criteria for gods in future. Because in the age of Kali, Arjuna knew that there will be hundreds and thousands of fake gods. So he wanted to set a standard for distinguishing between the true and the false gods. When Mahaprabhu came, then to a few of his chosen disciples, he revealed his universal form. And Srila Prabhupada would say that if somebody comes and says, I am God, then we should ask the person to show your universal form. And the person says that if you're not, that I can show but you're not qualified, then you can say, make me qualified. Like Arjun was made qualified. So for these three reasons, out of curiosity, in order to convince others, and to set a criteria for gods in future, Arjun is asking to see the universal form. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that Arjun did not have any personal desires for confirmation. Krishna understands that Arjun wants to set this universal form to set a criteria for the future, when there may be so many impostors who would pose themselves as incarnations of God. The people therefore should be careful. One who claims to be Krishna should be prepared to show his universal form to confirm his claim. Okay. Next verse. Verse 4. Manyase yadita chakyam maya drashtum iti prabho yogeshvaro tato me tvam darshayatmanam avyayam. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal form. So Arjun here is demonstrating the etiquette in putting a request in front of Krishna. So he's not ordering Krishna that show me your universal form, otherwise I will stop believing in you, or you better show me your universal form. So first he talks about his own qualifications. He says, if you think I am able to behold your cosmic form, you think if you are qualified, right? And then he says that kindly show me that unlimited form, right? So then he puts his request, and he also glorifies Krishna. He says that you are Yogeshvara. So Yogeshvara is master of all mystic powers. Once again, to indicate that because you have all kind of siddhis under your control, you can bestow some to me also, through which I can see your universal form. So what this also means is that no one can see Krishna unless Krishna gives them the ability to see them. And this applies to all forms of Krishna. Not just the universal form, but the personal form, even the deity form. There are people who will go to the temple and they will just see an idol and come back. And there are those who will go to the temple and they'll see the deity. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri, then when he saw Lord Jagannath, then he saw Krishna. Not just Krishna, but Krishna in that particular mood he saw, which is why he rushed to embrace the deity. So one cannot see Krishna unless Krishna allows himself to be seen. And Krishna bestows the ability. So that's why Arjun says Yogeshwaram. He also addresses Krishna as Prabhu. So Prabhu generally means one who is worthy of worship. So he is glorifying Krishna, and in a humble mode he is requesting Krishna to show him that universal form of his. Next verse. Verse 5. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Pashyame Partha Rupani Satashotha Sahasrashaha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varna Kritini Cha. The Supreme Personality of God had said, My dear Arjun, O son of Pratha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied, divine and multicolored form. So, moved by the prayers of Arjun, Krishna is now magnanimously agreeing to show the form. And Krishna, in 4 verses, he sets the context of the form. Right? So, before showing the form, he is describing it in general terms. Right? So, he says this form is my opulences of manifesting hundreds and thousands of different divine and multicolored forms. So the form that Krishna is showing is also described in the first verse of Purusha Sukta. So Purusha Sukta is a prayer that is recited by Lord Brahma and Devas, specifically when they want to evoke the attention of Krishna, specifically Shodaksha Vishnu. In the 10th canto, we see that when Mother Earth, in the form of cow, went to Brahma for getting relief, then Lord Brahma with Lord Shiv and Mother Cow and all the Devas, they went to the shores of the Shodaksha ocean, the Shir Sagar ocean, to pray to Shodaksha Vishnu in form of the Purusha Sukta. So the first verse of the Purusha Sukta is Saharsasir Sa Purusha, Saharsaksha Saharsapad, Sa Bhumim Vishwato Vritva Atyatishthad Dasambulam. So Saharsasir Sa Purusha, the person who has thousands of hairs, Saharsaksha Saharsapad, that one with 1,000 eyes and 1,000 feet. So this is the form of this is the description of the universal form. And later on, when Arjun becomes qualified by seeing the Vishwaroop, Krishna will then show him the Kal Roop. And so considering that, Krishna speaks this words, that in my one form you will see hundreds of my Swaroop and my Vibhutis. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he gives a little bit of a description of the form that is being shown. So he says that although this form is transcendental, it is just manifested for the cosmic manifestation and is therefore subject to temporary time of this material nature. Because the Vishwaroop is shown in the material universe, and even though the material universe is eternal, it is also temporary. So it comes and goes. Now, that coming and going is happening since time immemorial and will continue to happen. So in that way, it is eternal. But the universe is here today, tomorrow it's not there. So in the same way, this form of Krishna is subject to being manifested and unmanifested. And Prabhupada says that it is not eternally situated in the spiritual sky like Krishna's other forms. So Krishna is Lord Vishnu. There is no time when he ceases to exist. He is always there. He is not, because the spiritual world is not subject to this creation and destruction. Prabhupada also says that a devotee is not concerned because he is not eager to see the universal form, but because Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in that way, Krishna reveals that form. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Okay, verse 6. Pashyadityan vashun rudran ashvinau marutas tata bahunya drishtapurvane Pashyascharyaani Bharata. O best of the Bharats, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. So Krishna continues to to first describe verbally the form that Arjuna is going to see. So we see that Krishna takes Arjuna through a series of being prepared to witness the form. First he describes in general terms verbally. Then he will show the Vishwarupa, which is awe-inspiring. And then he shows the Kal Rupa, which is fear-inspiring. And then he will withdraw the forms and show his Manushya Rupam, which is worthy of being loved. Right? So we see that Krishna takes Arjuna through this interesting journey. So here he talks about the fact that Arjuna will now see the different manifestation of the Devas. Right? So there are the 12 Adityas and the Vasus, the Rudras, the Ashwani Kumars, and all the others. We just mentioned the prominent ones. And important to understand that when Krishna is saying that they are being manifested by him, it means that they are dependent on him for their existence. It does not mean that they are non-different from him. And just like a potter may make a pot, so the pot is dependent on the potter for its existence, but not the other way around. The potter is independent. Right? So even though all these devas are fully dependent on Krishna to the point where Krishna considers them to be his own manifestation, but nevertheless he is the creator and they are the created. Next verse. Verse 7. Ihekastham jagat kritashnam pasyadya sacharacharam mama dehe godakesha yachanya drashtumechasi. O Arjun, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. So, Krishna is revealing that this universal form reveals the entire universe at a single place. So rather than Arjuna having to travel all over the universe and witness all the different aspects of that creation, which practically is impossible to do, Krishna is saying, don't worry about it. Just standing right over here, whatever you wish to see, you will see in my body. So the underlying point that is being made over here is that the universal form, it encompasses the concept of space. So generally, if you're sitting at one place, you cannot witness what is happening at another place. You have to travel to that place to see what is happening. But Krishna is saying, you don't have to travel. Just standing over here, you can see everything that is manifested everywhere. So what does it mean? That the universal form encompasses space. And later on we will see that the same form also encompasses time. So in this material universe, there are two primary considerations, that of space and time. So when you have to meet somebody, you will say that I will meet you at this space at this time. That will uniquely define your position. You say I'll meet you, but if you don't give the time, then the person does not know when to meet you. Or if you say I'll be there at 10 p.m. but if you don't give the place, person doesn't know where to meet you. So only when these two coordinates are given, space and time, is a position uniquely described. And what Krishna is saying that both these considerations of space and time are encompassed within the universe. So Krishna essentially is violating both these constraints of the universe. He is saying that the entire space is now within me. And later on he will say, all aspects of time, past, present and future, are within me. So who can violate these concepts? One who has control over it, not one who is controlled by it. So the point that is being made is that because Krishna is the controller of space and time, he is able to hold it within himself. And at one place he can show Arjun all the places. And at one time he can show Arjun all the times. Next verse. Verse 8. Natu mam sakshase drashtam aneneva swachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshahu pashyame yogameshwaram. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. So, in preparing Arjun to see the universal form, Krishna is now bestowing upon him divyam chakshusha, divine eyes. Now, this is a verse that is discussed a lot amongst the acharyas, and I'll give you a summation of the discussion. So, if you remember, there were three reasons as to why Arjuna asked to see the universal form of Krishna. Out of curiosity, in order to convince others, and set a criteria for future gods. So, Krishna, understanding these three reasons, wants to fulfill both the explicit desire, which Arjuna said, which is curiosity, and the implicit desires, which is the need to convince others and to set a criteria for future gods. Now the problem here is that Arjuna is a pure devotee of Krishna. Amongst the Nar Narayan, Arjuna is Nar and Krishna is Narayan. He is an eternal associate of Krishna who is accustomed to see the personal form of Krishna. So he is not much interested in seeing the opulent form of Krishna. So in response to this request of Arjuna, Krishna actually downgrades the vision of Arjuna to appreciate his cosmic form. Now, why didn't he say that I am downgrading your vision? The other reasons come in play because he wants to create this sense of astonishment, not only in Arjuna but in us also. So he says that I am bestowing upon you a divine vision. If Krishna had not said that, then others later on would say that why can't I see the universal form? If Arjuna could see it, why can't I see it? But now Krishna is providing a solution to them. The reason you can't see it is because you do not have divine eyes. Now Arjuna did not need divine eyes because he had more than divine eyes. He has eyes that were smeared with the ointment of pure devotion, much superior to divine eyes. So while at the same time he is downgrading the vision of Arjuna, he is also creating this standard for others to reach, to be able to be qualified to see the universal form of Krishna. Now it's also relevant to note over here that while Krishna downgraded the vision of Arjuna, he did not downgrade his consciousness. Which is why when Arjuna sees the celestial form, he does not derive any pleasure from it. Because if his consciousness was also downgraded, then he would be simply lost in that mystical form. But because Arjuna never forgot his position as a pure devotee of Krishna, he never forgot his relationship, personal relationship with Krishna. He simply found the form to be disturbing and quickly said that, can you withdraw it and reveal to me your form? So Prabhupada says that devotees who are correctly situated in transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulences. It's interesting that Prabhupada here describes Krishna's universal form as a godless display of opulence. And he says the playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Verse 9. Sanjaya vacha evam uktva tato rajan mahayogeshvaro harihi darshayama shaparthaya paramam rupam aishwaram. Sanjay said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. So this is Sanjay now speaking to Dhritarashtra. So in the next set of verses, we will see a description of the universal form coming from Sanjay. Now this is essentially Sanjay repeating what Arjuna is seeing. Or it could be Sanjay relaying what he was seeing. And then we move to the description of the universal form in Arjuna's own words. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Verses 10 and 11. Aneka vaktra nayanam anekadbuddha darshanam aneka divya bharanam divyaneka dayata dayudam divya malyam vardharam divya gandhe nalupanam sarvascharyamayam devam anantam vishvato mukham. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared all over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. So we see the repeated use of the word aneka. And aneka means many, but we can understand that here it means countless. That it was something that cannot be counted. That he had many mouths and eyes. Later on in the 46th verse, it will be mentioned that Sahasrabahu Bhava Vishwamurte, that he had unlimited hands also. So Prabhupada says that in these two verses, the repeated use of the word many, which is aneka, indicates that there was no limit to the number of hands, mouths, legs and other manifestations Arjuna was seeing. These manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna could see them sitting in one place. This was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna. Next verse. Verse 12. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaveda Yugapad Uttitaha Yadi Bhasadarshi Sasyada Bhashastasya Mahatmana. If hundreds and thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiation might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. So here Sanjay is using a literary technique called Utpreksha. So Utpreksha is by trying to describe something that is indescribable by comparing it to something that is describable. So he is trying to convey to Dhritarashtra the effulgence of the Supreme Person. But he is trying to convey it in words. So what does he do? He compares it to something that is more perceivable. So he says that if you compare the effulgence of 1,000 suns, then that would give you some sense. Even that is deficient, but it will give you some sense of the effulgence of the Supreme Person. Now Dhritarashtra is blind by birth, so he may have not even seen the reference point, the effulgence of the sun, but the Sanjay is still using this as a technique because of the two, Dhritarashtra has more an understanding of something that others could have described to him. And also for our benefit, that if we see the effulgence of the sun and we multiply that by 1,000 times, then instead of one sun rising, there is 1,000 suns rising. Then we can get a glimpse of the effulgence of the universal form. Prabhupada says that what Arjuna saw was indescribable. Yet Sanjay is trying to give a mental picture of the great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjay nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjay, by the grace of Vyas, could see whatever happened. Thus he now compares the situation, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomena of the 1,000 suns. Right? So this is the technique which is known as Utpreksha or poetic fancy. Okay, next verse. Verse 13. Tatrextam jagat kritashnam pravibhaktam anekada apashaye deva devasya sharire pandavastada. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided in many, many thousands. So, what could Arjuna see sitting at one place? So, he could see Ekastham, sitting at one place, Pravibhaktam. He could see many, many aspects. And Prabhupada explains that this many, many means that Arjuna could see many universes. Some of them were small, some of them were large, and some of them were very large. He could also see many kinds of universes. Some made of earth, some of gold, and some of jewels. And all of it, tatra, that all of it is sitting in one place. Prabhupada also says that others on the battlefield could not see this form because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. Arjuna could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. As we learn from Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, and some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting on his chariot, Arjuna could see all these, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Krishna. So now we see the narration of the description of the universal form is coming from Arjuna. In the previous set of 6 verses, Sanjay was describing either what he saw or what Arjuna saw, which is the same thing. And now Sanjay begins to relay what Arjuna is speaking. So we will resume from 14th verse in our next discussion. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.